So I love the statement that you should listen to understand before attempting to be understood, but I realize understanding occurs really at two levels. Can you explain those levels to us?
Yeah, well, I would say in general, try to let people feel understood first. You know, if you want to open up a closed mind, then what you do is you want them to feel understood. And I would suggest that you always go last because when people feel understood by you, the doors to their mind open and it's very easy. And I'd say the attitude to take when you're doing that, well, there's two things you want to do. You're going to first listen to the person. All right. There's a first phase where you're not doing much. You're not interrupting them. You want them to get out what they have to say, but you're giving them meaningful looks like this, an occasional grunt. Now, how long you spend at that phase really varies according to who you're with. If somebody's being aggressive like a tank, it's going to be very short. And if somebody's being a whiner, it's unfortunately going to take a lot longer. But one thing is certain, you know it's time to get interactive if you hear somebody repeat themselves. Whenever people repeat themselves, think of them as an idiot light on your dashboard going, I'm not sure you got it. I'm not sure you got it. You have no clear indication people need feedback from you. So now I would say, okay, excuse me for interrupting. I just want to make sure I understand. Now, if you say to somebody, I want to make sure I understand you, they're going to stop because they want to be understood. So you're saying blah, 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 and you give what's called a backtrack summary. How much detail you do in the summary does vary. If somebody was being an aggressive tank, we would do a few greatest hits, okay, and then move forward. If somebody's being a whiner, it's going to be much more lengthy, but you want to keep it in their words. Do not translate any of their words. See, words are symbols to represent experience. Symbols have a personal meaning. If I take your words, your symbols, and I change them into something else, I'm running the risk of you thinking what I change it into is not what you meant, and then you will not feel listened to or understood. So you keep it in their words. Then you roll up your sleeves and you start clarifying. Clarifying means you ask questions. So when you say that he never does that, what is the thing that he's never doing specifically? And you dig a little deeper. And now this is a longer phase. Now, note, whenever you backtrack, summarize in people's words, it lets them know you've listened to them. And if you clarify and ask questions, it shows you care to understand. And when you put listening and caring together, this is what gives people the feeling of being understood. And so there's a whole phase of backtrack, clarify, backtrack, clarify, backtrack, clarify, backtrack, clarify. And then if when it's time you think to transition possibly to what you want to say, you should give a complete summary of what you heard so far and say, is there anything else? And if they go, wow, no, you really get it, then, oh, may I tell you, da, 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 whatever the subject is. And then you could tell them just about anything. Because at that point, the doors to the mind are wide open.